I want to talk about two particular subjects. First, the spokesperson of the ANC, she had a podcast interview and she said something that was so diabolical. I was like, wow. They don't even hide now. They don't even hide. They just say some of the most diabolical things. Young man here by the name of Shebe. He has a cuss word at the end of his name. I don't know. Why put a cuss word in your name? For some reason, things got so heated that he felt the need to take out a huge knife and almost someone live. Right. I'm going to first go to the ANC lady, then we'll come back to Shebe.
The president says this regularly, but he says we are coming back, and we are coming back on an ethical footing.
Okay, so the ANC is coming back ethical. So where were you before? So you were not ethical before?
That this idea that ANC people are cadres and they're corrupt, all of them, is very wrong.
Okay, so
It's very wrong.
let's do a little exercise, you and I, right?
Okay, you heard what he said. He said, no, it's fine. People are not corrupt. No problem. Let's do an exercise.
I hand over your phone number because I've got your number to an international investor. They contact you. They say, I am Mr. Big Shot from some country and I want to open a multi-billion-dollar factory in South Africa. I'm going to buy this land, which I've earmarked. I'm going to build a big factory, right? I'm going to employ thousands of people. He says, I'm going to bring in a lot of specialists, but I see that there's an employment equity tick box exercise, right? Where I am being told who to hire, right? And I run companies all over the world, and nowhere am I told who I must hire. Should I invest in your country or shouldn't I? How would you answer that?
You people in the ANC are not corrupt. Let's do an exercise. It's a podcast. Remember, she could have lied, Okay, so let's see what she chose.
Particular investor.
That you can go and go and invest in India or
So
elsewhere.
go somewhere else.
Yes.
Okay. So,
No.
Well, we can see why we've got a growth rate of 0.5 points.
Wait,
No.
come back.
And go and invest in.
I run companies all over the world, and nowhere am I told who I must hire. Should I invest in your country or shouldn't I? How would you answer that particular investor?
That you can go and go and invest in India or
So
elsewhere.
go somewhere else.
Yes.
Okay. So,
No.
Well, we can see why we've got a growth rate of 0.5, 0.6%.
No.
Okay.
I
think that's the.
No.
You've joined Dada Moreira as the other honest politician because at least you've answered the
No.
question honestly.
If you are coming and now I see you're bidding for Starlink by Elon Musk. Anyone who wants to come and invest in South Africa must abide by the South African Constitution and the laws of the country.
Okay.
Any self-respecting country does that.
Okay.
That's not
No
unique
problem.
to.
Stop. That was a hypothetical. You didn't have to, it wasn't so complicated. It was a very simple thing. You are saying that you want to bring jobs. Somebody says they want to come and build factories and so forth and all that. But why would she say the person can go? They don't care about job creation. No, the person can go. I thought that was such an interesting thing. She didn't even hide it.
Should I invest in your country or shouldn't I? How would you answer that particular investor?
That you can go and go and invest in India or
So
elsewhere.
go somewhere else.
Yes.
Okay. So,
No.
Well, we can see why.
It's like if that's what you care about, that's the first thing that's going to stick out. This is going to create jobs for the youth. No point in her head where she even thought about you. Zero. There's nothing. She didn't even try. She could have lied. We would have accepted the lie. But No, she couldn't even lie. She just says it straight. We don't care about the job creation. We don't care. And you see, this is the spokesperson. The people that are there are anti-human production. You know, when God put man on this earth, he said, be productive, multiply. So use your environment to be productive. But to them, it's like it's diabolical. That woman didn't even try. She didn't even try to lie. She couldn't even be bothered to lie. Absolutely disgusting. That's the state of your heart, madam. It's not that I don't like you. No, it's that your heart is so far from what you claim. Y'all claim that you care about the people, you care to advance, but you show completely contrary. You completely show the contrary when it comes to the things that you do publicly. A person with the public's interest at heart would have answered, you know what, we'll have to look into our policies, yes, but being it that this would bring jobs, we'll sit down, negotiate with them, or That's how your heart is. Your heart is that far. That's sad. But this takes me straight to the second portion of the story. Speaking of distraction, the Shebeshxt whole video, I think it came out yesterday or something like that. And so he is at some event, and it's a party actually. It's a party. It's full of kids in there, and I don't know if this guy pissed them off or what, and he just takes out this huge knife. Like, how do you even carry that thing that he had? That thing was huge. That thing was like this big. Not like this big. And he goes at it. It's not like he just took it out to scare him. No, he took it out and he goes thinking. And luckily the guy next to him stops him and so forth. Like, when a person is being destructive and they can't stop themselves. The same way this woman, being destructive and she cannot stop herself. See the corruption of the sin nature. This is what the Bible speaks about if you actually look up Proverbs chapter number 14, verse number 12. And it says, the house of the wicked will be destroyed, but the tent of the upright. You see, comparison between the tent versus the house there. Interesting. And it says, there is a way that seemeth right to a man, but its end is the way of death. Now, is that you erode to a point where you are non-existent to your mortality. Both the individuals, the woman and the gent, non-existent to your mortality. What do I mean? You see, this woman doesn't realize that one day she will sit before God and will answer for how unjust she behaved herself, how unjust she was. How unjust she was, and how unjust her politics was. Because they are seeking for some end at the back of their head, they would restrict employment. They would restrict enterprise. They would restrict job creation because it doesn't fit their model. On the other hand, the young man, Shebe and so forth, he's so far into his pride. And this is a very popular movement in the Limpopo area, by the way. This whole thing of, these reckless guys with their Nike clothes and whatever and all that. Like, they want to show gangster, they want to be gangster and all that kind of stuff. It's a deception of mortality. Is that they are so deceived in that One day we die in this body and we go on to answer unto God. You'll answer for all these things. You'll answer for the harm, the destructive nature that you portrayed and showed to others. The brutality. The deception of mortality. Deception of mortality. That there is a day this body goes to die and we go to answer to God. For both the figures. To her, that woman, she's justified. She is justified. She wants to then talk about because she that does what and what. See, these ideas that don't make sense to the benefit of young people, unemployment just continues increasing and whatnots and stuff like that. You see, creating an environment of crime that is what you see right now, she's not affected.